I just wanted to share that video with you this morning. I found it on YouTube, and I thought it very interesting that it used a 21st century digital technology to promote literacy. And my guest this morning is Sister Arlene Greenidge. And Sister, you're going, yes, I absolutely like that one, Lisa. I saw that on your face. Welcome to the show, the brand new show.
Making history.
You are. This is our first week. So it feels like a month. He's like a month of doing this. Sister, you know, it's interesting that they use digital technology because, you know, in this world of all these BYODs, bring your own devices, the phones and the iPads and all of that.
Digital culture.
Completely different language. What has been your observations working with so many young people?
Well, that is so true, you know. Everything is social media. And it's amazing, even though I work in an institution, basically, our children are so savvy, you know.
They all are.
Yes, and sometimes I feel old, Lisa. Old.
No, don't. You're perennial. You're perennial. Yeah. But, you know, in terms of the impact on literacy, I know,
So that's a huge concern for us because literacy is critical, you know, as we prepare our children to be productive citizens and to live wonderful lives and to thrive. Being able to problem solve, being able to conflict resolve, being able to plan. Those are important skills that they need, especially since so many of them come from situations of disadvantage. And you find literacy is a critical piece of that. You know, we need a language in which to problem solve. Not only a language, we need a common language. And so literacy and reading literacy is something that we see as being critical. And something that we need to address as we prepare our children.
Because without that language to problem solve, what's the alternative?
Conflict.
Exactly.
Conflict.
Exactly.
And that's very often the reason why children come into care. Families cannot cope. Cannot cope. There's not a significant increase in the incidence of mental illness, you know, depression, and we think it's because people are unable to cope. And literacy is a critical part of that.
Because they can't articulate the feelings.
And there's no common language in which we can solve and problem solve and conflict resolve.
So you are working towards finding a solution at the St. Dominic's RSC home. Children's home.
And so this literacy program is being launched, is a critical part of that, you know. So we are really, this is a call to action, really. We're inviting volunteers, people who can, because we want to, the idea is that we want to develop a culture of reading at St. Dominic's Children's Home. So we want to have people going into the houses and
when you say houses, you mean the houses?
Because at St. Dominic's, because we have St. Dominic's is made up of 3 locations. So the main campus, we have 2 locations off campus, and each location, the main location, has 6 houses. So altogether we have 8 houses. And so we want volunteers who can go, trained volunteers. We're doing an orientation. Trained volunteers who can go into the houses and promote this program. We need books. It's also a call to action in terms of a book drive. It's a call to action in terms of funding.
Funding is very important. Where would persons deliver their books? At the home?
At St. Dominic's Children's Home in Belmont. That's really the
age-appropriate books, please.
Definitely age-appropriate and different levels. Because remember, children are starting at different levels.
So your tutors or your caregivers would be reading with the children?
Volunteers as well. So as I said, it's a call to action in terms of people volunteering. And we have brought on board resource persons. And so we have someone who's going to be doing some training and providing people with some skills in terms of teaching reading and making reading interesting.
Yes, making reading fun.
Making reading fun. And I mean, the whole world exists between 2 covers.
And even though this would be instructive for parents as well. Parents at home, in their own homes, to make reading fun, you know, in this fast-paced world.
And it's a way of building relationships. When you sit and read with a child, when you engage a child around an exciting book, something is happening. There's a dynamic.
And I know some schools, especially for this week, some schools take their children out to the parks with the books and so to read. You know, so even though we are digital, we can still be literate.
One doesn't. I mean, it's not mutually exclusive.
Some people read from their iPads and their...
That is true, and that's wonderful. But we want to reintroduce our children to books.
I love books. I love to hug up my book and smell it and read.
About a book.
And you mentioned funding. Funding would be very important.
Because assessments. We want to to pre and post test.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to get a sense of where our children are at, where they're performing now. And in a year's time, at the end of the program, at the end of the project, the year-long project, we want to test and see where they're at that point in time.
Right.
So you want to be able to use what our experience, and of course that data will be critical.
Yes. Now, I know some people are looking on and saying, you know, this is a fantastic program. I want to get involved. How can they do that?
So call us at St. Dominic's Children's Home, 625-7081. Send us an email, St. Dominic's Children's Home, ST. I think it should be coming up on your monitor.
Yeah.
Right? St. Dominic's Children's Home at gmail.com.
I hope it is there, sister. Sister, I hope you're not out of me right now. I hope you're not out of me right now.
But anyway, STDOM, yes. But 625-7081.
625-7081, yes.
And just ask for more information in terms of our literacy program.
Thank you so much for coming, sister.
And I bless this wonderful new start.
Oh, I am taking
the dawning of this new
that,
day.
I'm taking that blessing.
This is so exciting.
I'm taking that blessing, and I'm throwing some blessing across to Rishi right now, who has an interview, a very interesting interview for us.